Assalamu alaikum everybody. आवाज जा रही? आवाज जा रही? Okay. So Dr. Sonia, could you introduce?
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all on this fourth Educational Research Day uh, organized by the Department for Education and Development. I am Dr. Sonia Ijaz Haider. I'm the chair of the Departmental Research Committee. We'll begin and start the program with the Tilawat of the Quran and followed by the national anthem.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجان من مارج من نار فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان
Thank you. And well, ladies and gentlemen, what makes this day so special is that although this is the first virtual educational research day, but it has been a very challenging experience for us. And I would say an enlightening one as well, because we have learned a lot, shifting gears and moving towards this virtual platform of research and collaboration. It has helped us to become better collaborators, I think, in terms of understanding how we can connect virtually. And although I shouldn't be saying, but still, I think thanks to the silver lining of the COVID-19, it has enhanced teaching, learning, and assessment. Uh, with immense pleasure, I would like to introduce to you the man behind our entire team. You know, he has been there with us as a guider, a supporter, encouraging us through and through. And let me tell you, he's an extremely busy physician and an incompetent one. Yet he still manages somehow, to bring out the best of abilities in all of us. And, under his leadership, we have flourished in the department, not only in terms of education and research, but teaching, learning, assessment, both nationally and internationally. With great pride, ladies and gentlemen, I present you Dr. Muhammad Tariq. He's the Chair, Department for Education and Development, and Interim Associate Dean.
So I can remove my mask. Thank you very much, Sonia, for a very nice introduction. I think ज़्यादा बोल दिया आपने. Um, so, on behalf of the Department for Education and Development, I welcome you all to this first virtual annual research day. This is actually fourth in line. We have, for the last since 2017, we are conducting this research day, and this time, because of COVID, we have learned a lot in introducing and doing a number of things online. And we participated in doing online webinar and a number of courses. So we are quite expert now in conducting things online. And so this time we thought that we should have the virtual research day. Now, in this virtual research day, we have done differently than before. Previously, what we were doing that we have this oral presentation session of 3 to 4 hours, and then during that period, the posters are displayed outside the courtyard or somewhere. But this time, what we have done that we are having this 3 to 4 hours presentations online this time, but the posters we are now displaying for 2 to 3 days. So we started on Wednesday, and they would be displayed till evening today. But I was thinking maybe we can extend till Monday, so that we can see people can see and have get advantage from those posters which are already displayed. So I would also like to take this opportunity to welcome such a great participation and representation from participants from all over Pakistan, not only from AKU, Department for Education Development, from AKU outside the Department of Education, from nursing, from even definitely from medical college, nursing, IED, and examination board. In addition, we have participants from all over Pakistan as well, from different parts of the institutions in different institutions in Karachi, Dow, JSMU, and others, as well as institutions in Lahore and Islamabad and some Peshawar as well. So we have different participations from all over. More than 520 already registered for this research day, which was supposed to be a departmental activity. So now with this online, the scope of this grand round of this research day has increased. So Department of Education Development is pleased to organize the event, which serve as a platform to disseminate research in education. This annual event provides an opportunity to faculty and students to showcase their research. And definitely, I'm happy to say that overwhelming response is there. 87 abstract we received this time, and out of them, 66 were accepted. And out of 66, 12 we would be having oral presentation, and 54 are poster presentations. And the breakup of the submissions are from medical college. Most of them are from medical college, then School of Nursing, then examination board, and then IED. 24 of our MHPE students have also submitted their abstract, and some of them are presenting as well. So basically, the idea of education research is to improve clinical teaching, learning, non-clinical teaching, learning. So I think research is to improve things, and I think so if we are doing research, we need to do whatever we do in our daily practice. If you are introducing new curriculum, if you are introducing new assessment method, I think we should always keep in mind that now this is the area where I think I want to do research as well. How to improve things, we can show the difference through research. And I think if you are doing research, I think this would have a better impact. So my request to all faculty from the DED and all faculty across who are involved in teaching and learning and assessment, they should think about introduce, if they introduce anything, they need to think about converting into a research project, and they do it accordingly. And always keep professional values of integrity, honesty, fairness, freedom, trustworthiness, responsibility into your mind. So with that, the last um, three education research day, so far 28 abstracts are published into paper, which is, I'm sure, not a very big number, but I think at least 28 are published. I think we are trying to make it more. So hopefully maybe next year we would be seeing more papers to be published in education research. It takes time, but I think if we are persistence, we have perseverance, I think we should be able to publish more. So if we are publishing more, I think we'll have much more better things in future as well. So with that, I would like to introduce our Dean, Medical College, Dr. Adil Haider. Dr. Adil Haider is a professor of surgery and professor of community health sciences. He is a graduate alumnus of AKU, Khan Medical College, of 1998. In fact, he was the AKU graduate of Medical College 1998. I am a graduate of AKU PGME 1998. The same years both of us graduated here. So he has been a great supporter of all these educational and research activities, and he has published more than 300 papers, and a number of grants are with him. And I think with that, I would like to give podium to Dr. Adil Haider to say a few words. Dr. Adil, please.
Assalamu alaikum, and good afternoon to all that have joined. I am, of course, joining virtually, keeping in view of the COVID surge and how we're trying to develop hybrid programs. I am so thrilled to welcome you to the 4th Education Research Day today. This is a very important occasion when we celebrate the dissemination of research across our entire continuum of AKU and its campuses. And of course, since we're in the health sciences campuses today, the emphasis is on health professions education. But we'd like to acknowledge, and we are grateful for the partnership of the Institute for Educational Development and the examination board, who always come together to make these kinds of events possible, and who are fantastic partners in learning and advancing the science of education. I, of course, also want to extend my congratulations to the Continuing Professional Education, DCPE department, but of course, more importantly, the star of the show today, the Department of Educational Development. And in particular, you already heard a very ringing endorsement from Dr. Sonia Heather, but that just goes to show how hard and how amazing the leadership is in the DED. And Dr. Tariq, you are, of course, an inspiration to all of us. Your commitment and your hard work towards advancing educational goals is just so commendable. And today, again, you, with the rest of the organizing committee, particularly Dr. Sonia Heather and Dr. Tabassum Zara, have worked so hard to make this possible. And I want to congratulate you and the entire DED for all your hard work. And we should definitely give you a virtual round of applause there. Now, I am particularly thrilled by the number that you just shared, that of last year's 28 things that were presented are now published into papers. That's incredible. That beats all sorts of national, international standards. I know typically between 10 and 20% of abstracts presented at national meetings end up getting published, depending on the meeting. But if you were able to get 28 published, that's just fantastic. And congratulations to all of those who were part of it. The DED and the associated departments like CPE, their whole goal is towards developing and advancing the idea of education, especially as far as health goes. And you do so many different things, from putting together the incredible Kovenar that had thousands upon thousands of people in it, to running the MHPE program, or even the program that all faculty at AKU take before they start to become faculty. So through these things, you have done an important contribution. And today's event is another example of exactly that you have, you didn't want to let go. You didn't say, let's put education by the wayside. You rose up to the challenge and said, okay, what's a virtual format that we can use? And I got to tell you, I think that the virtual format, especially for the posters, probably is being seen more than anybody else. I mean, I love the system online program that's being used to display the posters. It makes them really nice and interactive. You have to jiggle a little bit to get on, but once you're there and once we remove these kinks, I think it's going to be just even better. And I think what we need to seize here is, hopefully when this pandemic is over, we must not lose all of the advances we have made in doing things virtually. We need to capitalize on this. It is, of course, made things difficult, but we should continue to move forward. I will say that I am, again, so proud of our faculty, with both within the medical college, our partners in Sonam, IED, SIMI especially, and of course the exam board and others who've really risen up to the challenge during COVID-19. And, I just look at the examination results of the classes that have been taken fully online, and then look at how those students have done with their assessments, and they're doing as good as ever. So clearly, you're able to impart great knowledge and even assess it in a very amazing way. So today's presentations, I'm really looking forward to them, because they, of course, are going to show us how we're going to further advance. Advancement of education is something that is not done enough in this part of the world. You are the trailblazers. Everybody presenting today should know that you are in a very important cutting-edge field that will pay dividends for much longer. Because if you can figure out how to improve education and improve that transfer of knowledge, it's something which is so sacred in a university, right? Like, you take knowledge and then you pass it down to a next generation so that generation can benefit even more. That sacred thing. And if you can figure out how to do that better and better, the impact is just enormous. So again, thank you very much for allowing me to participate, and I'm really looking forward to the presentations today. Congratulations to the DED and Dr. Tariq, Sonia, and Tabassum Zara again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adil. Thank you for the nice words. So, Dr. Shazia Babar is going to introduce now.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Dr. Tariq. Thank you, Dr. Adil. I'm Dr. Shazia Baba, working in the Department for Education Development and a part of the research committee. I would like to introduce the judges of our oral presentation. First judge, Dr. Syed Imran Mahmood. He is Master's in Medical Education, and he's done PhD, and he's a Director of Health Professional Education in Dow Institute of Health Professional Education, Dow University of Health Sciences. Dr. Sayyida Kausar Ali, she's an MHP and a PhD. She's a program director at the PhD at Health Professional Education, professor and chairperson, Institute of Medical Education, Jinnah Singh Medical University. Dr. Kosa, I want you to wave. Okay. Now, Dr. Naveed Yusuf, he's a PhD in medical education. He's an assistant professor, Department for Education Development, associate director, assessment and research at Examination Board, Khan University. He's also an advisor, psychometrics from MRCGP International, South Asia. G. Naveed Yusuf, wave. Okay. Now, our moderators for these oral presentations. Our moderator for oral presentation in first theme, innovation in teaching and learning, is Dr. Javeria Rahman, who is a senior instructor in Department for Education Development and Pathology. Our moderator for second theme, faculty development, burnouts and ethics in health profession education, is Dr. Rahila Ali, who is a senior instructor in the Department for Education Development. And our moderator for oral presentation in the third theme is education assessment is Dr. Tabassum Zehra, who is an assistant professor and a director of Masters in Health Profession Education. Now I would like to request Dr. Javeria to carry on the session.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Shazia. Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon to everyone. We now begin our session, the first session for oral presentation. The theme of this session is Innovations in Teaching and Learning. There will be 4 presentations in this session and each will be of 7 minutes duration. Question and answers will be held at the end of the session, and you all are requested to kindly send your questions on the link provided you in the email with the name of the presenter to which the questions will be addressed. I would now like to invite our first presenter, Dr. Rehana Rahman from Khan University, Karachi. The title of her presentation is An Innovation in Flipped Classroom, a Teaching Model to Facilitate Synchronous and Asynchronous Learning During a Pandemic. Dr. Rehana, please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon. Today I'll walk you through the journey in innovation in flipped classroom, a teaching model to facilitate synchronous and asynchronous learning during a pandemic. I declare that there is no conflict of interest as far as my presentation is concerned. So before taking you to the flipped classroom, I would like you to just recall traditional and flipped classroom and the Bloom's taxonomy. What is FCR or the flipped classroom? It is an active learning pedagogical method which integrates an admixture of asynchronous and interactive synchronous learning activities. In traditional flipped classroom, for the asynchronous learning, pre-recorded lectures, videos, quizzes, etc. are uploaded online, whereas the interactive discussions and the higher order learning activities like problem solving are conducted during the synchronous component of the flipped classroom. So we all are in the era of COVID-19 pandemic. This pandemic has focused educational institutions to an era of online learning through use of digital technology and a number of virtual learning environments. In order to face this challenge, we developed a completely online model with before, during, and after class online activities. The objectives were, number one, to introduce an EFCR model with clinical cases to educate students on physiological changes of pregnancy in the endocrine reproduction module of Year 2 undergraduate curriculum. Secondly, to assess usefulness of this model by students' knowledge gained through comparison of pre and post session quiz results and the responses obtained from the survey questionnaire. After obtaining ethical approval from the Institutional Review Board, we planned our sessions. We formulated and finalized the BOBS lesson plan and the facilitator's guide. For the asynchronous pre-class learning, we uploaded online videos, lecture key slides, as well as a pre-quiz on the VLE. Then for the synchronous activity, we divided the class into a batch of 2, 50 students in each batch, and then we started our discussion with revisiting all those concepts which have not been properly answered by the students in the pre-test. Then we sequentially disclose the clinical cases, history, physical findings, and ask the students to interpret them with reference to the physiological mechanisms that occur in pregnancy. We encourage them to respond to our questions in the chat box, answer those questions with the reference to the script which we had already prepared and generated a useful discussion. For the post-class activity, we uploaded the recorded video of this session, PDF presentation, as well as we asked them to respond to a post-session quiz. Not only this, we encourage the students to talk to us and respond to all the queries regarding that post-test or any clarification of the lecture content on the WhatsApp and VLE. We also ask the students to reflect on the questionnaire which we designed in order to assess usefulness of this EFCR model. The results showed that there was a gain in the student score from the pre to the post session test, and this gain was 4.93. As far as the response of the students on the study questionnaire, which was obtained on a 7-point Likert scale from 0 to 6, we gathered that students were very happy with the pre-reading material that was loaded as part of the pre-class activity. Regarding the group discussions of the clinical cases, students mentioned that these clinical cases helped in linking and retention of the concepts, assisted in the knowledge sharing, as well as stimulated problem-solving skills. Students felt themselves accountable for learning, and they dedicated more time for the preparation of these clinical cases. Students were satisfied with the engagement during these sessions, and they were interested to participate in the similar activities in future, even if the pandemic is over. In a nutshell, the students were satisfied and mentioned that the activity enabled self-directed learning with construction of knowledge, peer interaction, and rectification of mistakes in an interactive learning environment. Effective feedback on the EFCR model on WhatsApp, VLE, and email gave the teachers an opportunity to reflect, review, and explain the misconcepts. Limitations are sample population derived from a single university, only Year 2 MBBS students, and only one topic of the module, which differs generalizability of the results. This is the summary, the graphical abstract of our EFCR model, after which I would like to conclude that this model, with a mixture of asynchronous and synchronous learning activities and case-based discussions through VLE, facilitated students' engagement and interactive learning. Students enjoyed the learning activity and suggested this for further learning sessions. And here is my destination. I just got it published today. And for this, I'm extremely thankful to my department, my colleague, Dr. Sayyida Satya Fatma, who was a co-facilitator with me, the curriculum office, and all the students, especially the class representatives, who helped us in getting response from the students and who gave us the strength to continue that in future. These are for a few of my references. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Hannah. Thank you. As mentioned earlier, the question and answers will be held at the end of the session. You all are kindly requested to send your questions on the given link that is provided on your emails and with the name of the presenter to whom the question will be addressed. I would now like to request Dr. Rubaba Azim from Dow University of Health Sciences to give her presentation on challenges and opportunities of virtual teaching. Dr. Rubaba, please.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Muniza Nisar and my colleague is Sayyida Rubaba Azim. Both of us are working in Dow University of Health Sciences. Uh, uh, First of all, we want to declare that we don't have any financial relationship and everything. So, This current pandemic has changed the entire world, and as you know that it has in fact changed the entire lifestyle. And during this change of lifestyle, the education system has drastically changed, and obviously medical education is not an exception to this. So the things, as I have already said, things have changed considerably, and they are still changing. And what option did the universities and the teaching institute were left with was the online delivery of their content, and that too happened, I would say, at a very short notice, because nobody was prepared for it. And you will second me that things initially go very abruptly, because all of us are used to of teaching in that traditional face-to-face campus-based environment, and obviously the virtual environment is really very different from that. Okay, so we decided to do a study, and we wanted to find out that we would be exploring the different challenges that the faculty was facing, and what opportunities did the faculty have while virtual teaching experience. We were really excited to find out possible solutions to those challenges as a result of our study, so that we could be able to recommend our faculty to do improvement in online environment. This was a cross-sectional study, and this was a cross-sectional quantitative study. The research team developed a very detailed Google survey form, and it comprised of 13 questions. Those 13 questions were targeted toward finding out the challenges that the faculty was facing, and the opportunities and the benefits they had witnessed during this entire period. And we did put some questions that targeted towards finding out the demography of the participants. We conducted this study in different medical and dental institutes of Karachi. We emailed the participants. We did send some WhatsApp messages. We sent some links, and we collected data from the faculty who was involved in BDS program and MBBS program, from basic sciences, from clinical sciences. Data was kept confidential, and later, after collection, it was analyzed using SPSS.
So the results of our study shows that the 53% of the participants were related with public institute, whereas 47% of the participants are from the private institute. Out of the total sample size, which is 385, 40% are from the basic sciences faculty, while 60% were from the clinical teaching faculty. It is well noted that it is really well accepted by the young faculty of our institutes, which are mostly 3 to 5 years of experience, and it comprises 37%. It is revealed that the Zoom is the largest online platform that was used by the participants to disseminate their virtual teaching. And it is also noted that the 73% of the participants had enough computer literacy to conduct the virtual online classes. It is also noted that 43% of the participants received some formal training for the delivery of course content online, but 42% of the participants had no previous online teaching experience and didn't receive any course to conduct the teaching online. We also found out that there is a significant relation between and controlling and engaging students with the previous online teaching experience of participants. The faculty who didn't get any online teaching experience, hadn't got any formal training, often face technical issues. They are less motivated in their lessons, and they also face difficulty in time management. So in our study, we noted that although the online education provided numerous benefits, like it is less intimidating, they give better control, communication, teachers can give feedback effectively, they can use innovative teaching method, have control question answer sessions, but they face challenges like they need more time to prepare lecture. So we noted that the prior computer knowledge and experience and training for online teaching have positive effect on faculty experience of virtual teaching. And those who had the prior experience of online teaching and those who have received some formal training have better experience of online teaching and vice versa. So it is concluded that for the success of online teaching, we does not only require the student readiness or support, but also faculty training is very essential. I can easily say that the practice does not make perfect, but only it is perfect practice that makes perfect. So we can continue to make the most of the development we already made through the proper practice and proper faculty training. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Baba and Dr. Maniza. Once again, I would like to remind that please email your questions with the name of the presenter on the provided link, which is given to you in the email. I now invite our next presenter, Dr. Amber Sultan from the Aga Khan University, for her presentation on strengthening skills for developing a flipped classroom, undergraduate, medical, and nursing student and faculty perspective. Dr. Amber, please.
मैं भी कर देती हूँ यहाँ से।
Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. The title of my study is Strengthening Skills for Developing Flipped Classroom, Undergraduate Medical Nursing Students and Faculty Perspectives. And the investigators of my study are already mentioned here. Okay, it's not working. Okay, so this is the disclosure statement. Introduction. With the rise of technology in many medical institutions, medical educationists are open to restructuring their classroom in innovative ways. The flipped classroom or inverted classroom is one such innovative teaching and learning strategy where the typical lecture moves outside the classroom, and in the class, students are involved in active discussion. The idea of flipped classroom is a growing in concept in education, and it is gaining popularity. Okay. It's not okay. What happened? Oops, it's not. I'm so sorry. There's something happened. It's not working.
Amber,
Okay,
use the arrow at the bottom left.
Yeah, I'm doing. Okay, this model of classroom instruction rely primarily on, I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry. There is something wrong with my laptop. It's not.
Dr. Amber, should I share your presentation?
Okay, yeah, I would suggest to please share my presentation because there's something wrong. I don't know what happened. Okay, so can you please? Okay, next. Next, please. Okay. Can you please go back? Okay, so the aim of my study was to train faculty in developing flipped classroom, conduct sessions for undergraduate medical and nursing students at Aga Khan University, and to enhance students' learning and engagement through flipped classroom. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. Objectives. Okay, so the objectives of my study, can you please go back? The objectives of my study is to explore medical and nursing students' perspective regarding their experiences as learners in attending flip style session, and to explore the experiences of faculty from medical college and school of nursing regarding their experiences in conducting flip class sessions. Next, please. Next, please. Next. Okay, so the methodology. This study was conducted from July 2019 till September 2020 at Khan University. 3 workshops were conducted, and the title of the workshop was Engaging Millennial Students Through Flip Classroom. Can you please? Okay. The workshop itself was designed on a flip style format in which pre-reading material was already shared well in advance with the workshop participants in order to gain better understanding of the concepts of flip classroom. Discussion board on Padlet was created in order to facilitate learning and engage workshop participants prior to the face-to-face session. Next, please. Next. Can you hear me? Next. Kahoot was also used to assess prior knowledge during face-to-face session. Workshop participants conducted sessions for medical and nursing students and participated in focus group discussion to share their experiences. The students' perspectives were gathered through questionnaire. Okay, so it was a mixed method study and convenient sampling was used. A total 29 faculty members from Medical College and School of Nursing attended workshop on engaging millennial students through flip classroom. And out of 29, 8 faculty members agreed to conduct 1 to 2 flip style sessions and participated in the focus group discussion. Students, undergraduate medical and nursing, School of Nursing students, the total number of students were 442. Out of 442, 88 were from Medical College and 354 were from School of Nursing. And for the data collection tool, session evaluation forms were used. And to explore the experiences of faculty, we used focus group discussion. Next, please. Next. Okay, next, please. Next, please. Next. Miran, next.
Okay, can you see the slide, Dr.
Okay,
Amber?
so the self-administered questionnaire focused, pardon? Yes, I can see the slides. The self-administered questionnaire focused on 3 main categories, such as pre-class material and preparedness for the face-to-face session, learning acquired during face-to-face session, and role of flipped class in enhancing in students' learning. The questionnaire comprises of 16 attributes, which were scored on a 5-point Likert scale. A score of 1 was strongly disagree, a 3 was neutral, and 5 was strongly agree towards the item. The questionnaire was developed based on literature review and was pre-tested before it was administered. Ethical clearance was also obtained from the Institutional Review Board. Next, please. Next. Next slide, please. Okay,
on your screen.
so data, okay, so data was analyzed by using SPSS version. Frequencies and percentages were reported for categorical variables. Opinions among 2 groups, that is MBBS and School of Nursing, BSc and students, they were assessed by chi-square test. A p-value of less than 0.05 was considered significant. Thematic analysis was done for the qualitative data. Next, please. Okay, so both groups found the class format is stimulating. However, a significantly higher proportion of MBBS students, that is 73%, finds class more engaging and interesting than a traditional lecture as compared to students of Sonam with a p-value of 0.009. A significantly higher proportion of MBBS students as compared to Sonam found the flipped class as useful in application of theoretical knowledge to clinical practice with a p-value of 0.03. Next, please. Okay, similarly, a significant higher proportion of students in MBBS program agreed to have more flipped class sessions in future as compared to the BSCN students. However, a higher proportion of Sonam students compared to medical colleges found the class discussion as a useful tool to enhance oral communication skills. Next, please. Okay, so this is this is the table for the quantitative data analysis, and as you can see the p-value of few items, the learning, for example, at number 2, the learning objectives of pre-class and in-class session were provided with a p-value of 0.020. Similarly, flipped class format enable learner to establish a concrete action plan to achieve their learning goals with a p-value of 0.036. Next, please. Okay, so here students also commented on that more flipped class sessions should be conducted in future with a p-value of 0.000. And next, please.
Okay, I would request Dr. Amber to please quickly go through the
Yeah.
results because the
Okay,
time
so
is
this
up.
is the qualitative data analysis. The major themes that emerged from the focus group discussion with faculty were the challenges associated with flipped style teaching in terms of time required for preparation, generating interest and engaging students. And these are the quotes from the focus group discussion. As you can see, so as far as the preparation is concerned, it was a relatively difficult phase, but one of the workshop participants said that when I turned one of my classes into flip format, I could see a new energy and a spark in my class. Next, please. Limitations of this study. This is a single center study, single institution study, and conclusion is flipped class approach found to be an effective teaching and learning strategy in which students were actively engaged prior as well as during the class, and students, they considered the flipped classroom as an engaging and interactive teaching methodology in order to promote deeper learning and better understanding of the concepts. Next, please. Recommendations are students, they recommended that more flip class room sessions, flip style sessions would be conducted in order to make the sessions more interactive and directed towards a student-centered learning where the student, they can take the ownership of their own learning. Next, please. And here are a few of the references. And please, next, please. And this is my questionnaire, session evaluation form we developed. And I would like to acknowledge Dr. Sadia Fatma and Dr. Kulsum Riaz in conducting these workshops with us. I'm really grateful to them. Thank you so much. Thank you. And apologies for this. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, Dr. Amber. May I again request the audience to kindly email your questions for the presenters on the email link that has been provided to you. I would now like to invite the last presenter of this session, Ms. Sanam Hanif from School of Nursing at the Arfan University to present status of digital learning practices in health sciences education in Pakistan. Ms. Sanam, please.
Thank you. Will you please close the sharing your slides so I can share my slides? Thank you.
No education.
Can you please share my slides?
Should I share your presentation?
Is it visible?
No, we can't see.
Oh, wait, it is
Now,
visible on
now it's.
Zoom. So, just please check on the projector. Dr. Sanam, you can please start the slideshow.
Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible. Please start the slideshow.
Okay.
And you
Okay.
can start.
Thank you. I am Sanam Hanif from the School of Nursing and Midwifery, Pakistan. Today, I am going to share a qualitative study on status of digital learning practices in health sciences education in Pakistan. This study has been published in the Journal of Pakistan Dental Association in June 2020. This is the disclaimer. Okay, today I will be going to discuss introduction, purpose, methodology, result, discussion, and recommendation. The Higher Education Commission of Pakistan is a self-sufficient and independent regulatory body for monitoring advanced education endeavor in Pakistan. Parallel to HAC, we have Medical and Dental Council, PDMC, and Pakistan Nursing Council are looking for undergraduate and postgraduate programs in medical and nursing institutions. So recently, due to the curtailing the spread of COVID-19, an academic hold foisted many health sciences university to digitalize the learning environment in the absence of the traditional classroom setup. However, the sudden suspension of health sciences institution in Pakistan had significantly affected students' learning and their performances in academics. Therefore, we aim to assess the digital learning practices in health sciences education institution of Pakistan, and we will also discuss different modes of digital learning strategies available for higher education institution across Pakistan. This is a descriptive study designed used to collect data from all recognized university of medical, dental, and nursing, which are registered from PMDC and PNC. We had altogether 225 institutions comprises of 111 medical, 52 dental, and 62 nursing colleges for data collection respectively. Data were collected within 15 days in the month of April via phone calls on an investigator-derived questionnaire that comprised of questions related to online learning being offered during the routine academic year as well as during the COVID-19 within the time period. Descriptive data analysis was done to assess the status of online learning in these institutions, and ethical review was obtained from Bitai Dental and Medical College Department of Research and Development. So this is the result of our study. A bar that is left-hand side represents the online learning offered by these institutions during the routine academic year. And the bar that is on the left side, it is offer online classes offered during the COVID-19. And each color code represent each province of the Pakistan. So out of 111 medical colleges, 24 of them offered online learning classes during the academic year, and 25 of them have offered digital learning during the period of COVID-19. The remaining 62 medical colleges, almost more than 50%, were completely shut off their academic activities during this pandemic. So this graph represents the 52 dental colleges registered by PMDC. Out of 52, only 9 of them offered online classes during the academic year, and 14 of them offered digital learning during the period of COVID-19. And the remaining 29 dental colleges, which is almost more than 50%, were not providing any online classes during the COVID-19. This graph represents the 62 nursing institution, and out of 62, merely 3 of them offered the online classes during the academic year, and this number has been increased up to the 19 nursing colleges offered digital learning during the period of COVID-19. Remaining 22 nursing colleges, almost 35%, were not providing any online classes during the lockdown. So this study shows that among all the 3 disciplines, the highest number of the medical college, that is 22% institutions, were providing online classes during the academic year, and nursing and dental discipline have tried their well to uplift the digital learning during the COVID-19. However, the percentage of higher education institutions that offer the online learning during the routine academic year is extremely low. According to our study, 1 in 4 health sciences education institution in Pakistan are offering online learning through Moodle, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Classroom, but many of the universities across the Pakistan are still deprived of the accessibility of technical expertise and spacious setup, unavailability of internet and facilities, electronic gadgets at home, inadequate funds, inadequate motivation among students and teachers are creating barriers in the implementing of e-learning in Pakistan. So we are looking forward to the higher authorities to invest in the capacity building of the educators as well as the development of necessary digital infrastructure. Further researches on the efficacy of online learning, the readiness of educator, the satisfaction of students, and the feasibility of scaling up digital learning in undergraduate or postgraduate program of higher education across the Pakistan is needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sanam. We now move to our question answer session. In the best interest of time, we will be taking 2 questions for each presenter from the questions received. The rest of the questions can be asked with the presenter directly with the email address provided on the website, or it may be forwarded as received here. So the question, first I would like to present the question to our first presenter, that is Dr. Rehana. Dr. Rehana, the question is, what were the obstacles you came across and how did you deal with them during this study?
Okay. Um, the main obstacles was number one, connection with the students and to get response from the students. And we worked really hard for this one session. We had at least 5 meetings with my co-facilitator, and we had to arrange time for those meetings, and then we have to submit that proposal to the curriculum office for recommendation and improvement. And while conducting that session, obviously sometimes the technology deceives you, so during the session we had problem, but in the end we had been successful. But much more efforts have been put in as compared to conducting just one session as we have conducted this session.
Okay, we have another question for you, Dr. Rehana.
Yes,
Could you
please.
please reiterate the lessons learned from the study?
The lessons learned from the study is that keep it up, continue to work, and this is what we did. At Department of Biological and Biomedical Sciences, we continued the flipped classroom in other modules as well, although we did not conduct a survey in all those lectures, but we kept on our flipped classroom exercise in the lectures, and number one. And number two, we have also initiated the flipped activity in our physiology lab. Sadia is the lead on that, and now we all have converted and made videos of our physiology labs, and we will be proposing a blended learning model to conduct the physiology labs in future.
Thank you, Dr. Rehana.
Thank you so much.
Now we have our next question from Dr. Rubaba. Okay, Dr. Rubaba, how did you overcome the issue of student connectivity? Dr. Rubaba and Dr. Maniza, are you with us? Okay, we can have the next question from Dr. Amber.
Yes.
So, did you think of conducting flipped classroom in this COVID era? And how do you see the way forward?
Okay, so I think involving faculty for conducting flipped classroom a bit challenging before the COVID era as well, because these are the busy clinicians and especially the clinical faculty. They don't have time to sit with us multiple times because it's not a one-time learning. Because majority of the clinical faculty who attended this workshop, they had multiple sittings with us. We taught them how to create Kahoot, how to create discussion Padlet, and how to upload video on Puzzle and incorporating questions in between. So I think it's a bit challenging. It was a bit challenging for us as well, although we facilitated them at multiple times. So in this COVID situation, taking extra time out to sit with us and create reading material and reading resources and develop this flipped class session a bit challenging for especially for the clinical faculty, but for the basic science faculty it would be, I think, much easier because they are not involved in clinics and all.
Thank you, Dr. Amber.
Ji,
We
Dr.
have
Julie.
another question for you. In your qualitative
Yeah,
data analysis, you mentioned that
yeah,
they found it, the preparation for it difficult. So, as
yes.
educators, how can the educators help them and develop a more flipped class session?
Okay, so what we did in our study is we asked them to prepare the reading material, but the reading material wouldn't be too lengthy. That wouldn't be easier for the students to read before coming to the session, right? So what we guide them is, so identify the reading material, any book chapter, or identify a short video of 2 to 3 minutes duration, and you can have few questions in between to assess their understanding. And then once they are done with all these things, they don't need extra time because they keep on using the same reading material for the next upcoming sessions, right? So one time effort is required, and then they can use the same video or they can change the video as well. But initially they have to identify the reading material, they have to identify the video which can be uploaded on Puzzle, or they have to develop few questions as well. So that really takes time.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Amber. The next question is for Ms. Sanam.
Thank you.
What methods of data collection were used to assess the digital learning practices in your study? Ms. Sanam?
Yes, could you please repeat? I can't hear you.
Yes. What methods of data collection were used to assess digital learning practices in your study? This is a question.
Okay, so we developed a questionnaire to collect that data from the different institutions. So we ask a question that what kind of the software that each institution is using it, and we call them up, and they give us the data that what softwares are they using currently in their institution.
Okay, thank you. We have another question for Ms. Sanam. How did you operationally define your variables? Okay, Ms. Sanam, am I audible? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Ms.
Miss
Sanam,
Hello.
can
Sanam,
you
please
hear us?
unmute.
Okay, do we have Dr. Rubaba and Dr. Muniza with us now?
Dr. Rubaba, she's not on Zoom. And Miss Sanam, can you unmute your microphone so that we can hear you?
Okay, So, can we hear from Ms. Sanam?
Ms. Sanam, you are still on mute. Please unmute your microphone.
Okay, no problem. We now end the question and answer session, and I would now like to request one of our honorable judges, Dr. Naveed Yusuf, to kindly summarize the session. Dr. Naveed Yusuf, please.
Hello, assalamu alaikum. So thank you for the opportunity to summarize the 4 oral presentations presented in the session 1, which was titled as Innovation in Teaching and Learning. We know all 4 papers were very nicely presented and presented on the very current and core issue faced by health professions education as to how to move the teaching and learning into online mode. The first presentation was by Dr. Rehana Rehman, and she presented how did the team converted the flipped classroom into an completely online model, retaining the good qualities of the flipped classroom itself. She demonstrated that if one works enough, hard enough, they can get some good results. There were good evaluations from students, and she also demonstrated that the student scores in the course increased. The second presentation was by Dr. Rubaba Azim, and she did a survey at the faculty level, assessing the readiness of the faculty to offer online courses. And what we saw is that faculty who had prior experience, who were trained earlier, did much better and had more confidence and readiness to offer the courses as compared to those who had not been trained earlier and were pushed now to move into online mode of teaching and learning due to COVID pandemic. The third presentation was by Dr. Amber Sultan, and she also presented how the faculty can be trained, can be developed into offering flipped classroom. And then she also presented results when the faculty who were trained actually implemented the flipped classroom and they evaluated the effectiveness of the flipped classroom through student evaluations. And she also demonstrated that when these classrooms are designed carefully and implemented well enough, they can get good results. The fourth study was by Sanam Hanif, and it was on the status of digital learning practices. This survey was done at the institutional level for the medical colleges, School of Nursing and dental colleges. What we were amazed to see is that the practices of medical and dental colleges included in her survey did not much to a higher number change the practice to online learning. Most of the institutions who were doing online learning continued to do so. However, for the School of Nursing, there was a very remarkable increase. And that I think is a very good sign that quite a new schools of nursing had moved to online learning to cope with the COVID-19 challenge. I would again like to thank all the 4 teams and all the 4 presenters for enlightening us on the core issue of online and innovative teaching and learning. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Naveed. Thank you very much. Okay, with that, we come to the end of our first session. We will begin our second session of the research day after a short break. So thank you, and we'll see you after a short break. 5 minutes break, right? Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Dr. Rahila from the Department for Educational Development and also a member of the Department Research Committee and moderator for this session. Um, we now start our second and a very diverse session. Not only the theme, faculty development, burnout, and ethics in health professions education reflects diversity, but so do the group of presenters. We have a student presenter from the medical college, MHP alumnus, and faculty both from within and outside ATU. There will be 4 presentations in this session, each of 7 minutes, and question answers as before will be taken towards the end of the session. You are requested to kindly post your questions in the link given in the email along with the name of the presenter to whom the question is addressed. I now invite the first presenter, Dr. Rahat Nas from Jinnah Sindh Medical University. Dr. Rahat Naz is also an MHP alumnus, and the title of her presentation is Development and Validation of Multi-Source Feedback Tool to Assess the Competence of a Health Professional Educationist. Dr. Rahat, please.
Thank you very much and for providing me this opportunity. So I'll start with my presentation. This is the disclosure statement. I do not have any financial relationship with any proprietary entities producing, marketing, reselling, or distributing healthcare goods. So the topic of my study was development and validation of a multi-source feedback tool to assess the competencies of health professional educationists. There are a number of medical colleges, and this number is constantly increasing. After the instructions of the regulatory bodies, almost all of the medical colleges have Department of Medical Education. However, the quality and standard of these, they have different programs for faculty, but the quality and standard of these programs vary greatly. The purpose of my study was to develop a validated tool to assess the competencies of health profession educationists. The significance is that I developed a multi-source feedback form, and the multi-source feedback form will not only provide feedback and self-assessment to the participant, but will also help the department to improve the standards of medical education, which is a dire need of this time. This validation study is first of its kind in the local Pakistani context, where the tool is based on the most holistic conceptual framework of competencies of health professional educationists. A robust literature search was done using various search engines, and we started with 5,912 research public articles, and we end up at 890 articles. And out of these, 8 studies were selected in which the attributes of medical educationists were discussed, and you can see these studies. I have included those studies in my study, and in these you can see that the competencies or the attributes of medical educationists were there. And out of these 8 studies, we concluded that we should choose 7 competencies or attributes of medical educationists. My research question is, can a multi-source feedback form accurately assess the competencies of health professional educationists at workplace? The objective was to develop a valid and reliable formative assessment tool for the evaluation of competencies of health professional educationists. My null hypothesis was MSF is not a reliable and valid tool to assess the competencies, and while the alternate was MSF is a reliable and valid tool to assess the competencies of health professional educationists. A cross-sectional study was conducted, which is a sort of a pilot study conducted in 5 months with a sample size of 40 at Jinnah Sindh Medical University and its affiliated colleges. 5 forms were filled from each participant and were assessed for reliability and validity. Descriptive analysis was done using SPSS, and mean and standard deviations were calculated. Let's come to the result. The descriptive statistic for age and professional experience shows that the mean age of the participants of my study was 39.27 years with an average experience of 3.69 years. This show, and most of them were female. About 65.5% were female as compared to 34.5% males. Let's come to the designation. The majority of the participants of my study belongs to the junior cadre. About 70.5% belongs to the junior cadre. This is the most important slide. Here we are discussing comparison of designation versus degree in medical education. And by degree in medical education, I mean the MHPE, a certificate program, or a PhD. 62% of health professional educationists had no degree in medical education. So the results were the faculty mostly belongs to the junior cadre and are females. The results were confirmed by the average content validity index was greater than 90%. So contents were appropriate. Cronbach alpha shows a high level of internal consistency. The relationship between different variables show relevance. And according to the average score, the leader has the highest mean value with communication as lowest mean value. Hence, the tool is a valid tool for assessing the competencies. Conclusion. And before the conclusion, I would like to put my recommendation. The feedback from the respondent alluded that MSF tool has too many items and is a lengthy tool for people to fill. It is recommended that after factor analysis, the number of items will be reduced, so it would be done in a shorter span of time. Our limitation was there, like in any other study, there are limitations that this study is conducted in one university of a city and is associated to medical colleges. So we were not able to collect data from the other universities, and this is our limitation. And the other limitation was that consequences of testing was not done. The conclusion was this multi-source feedback form will be helpful not only in developing the standards in the field of medical education, but it will also provide guidelines for the training needs of all those working in this area. So we conclude that MSF is a reliable and valid tool to assess the competencies of health professional educationists. These are my references, and I would like to acknowledge the efforts of Dr. Azam, Dr. Ruxana Zubairi, Dr. Tariq Mahmood, Dr. Tabassum, and the whole faculty of DET. Thank you very much. Hello, I cannot hear you. Hello? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. What happened?
Thank you, Dr. Rahat, for your presentation. And a request to the participants to post the questions they have for Dr. Rahat at the link provided. And with that, we'll take the questions at the end, and we'll move to the second presentation. And the second presenter is Dr. Zaima Ahmar from Jinnah Sindh Medical University. The topic of her presentation is knowledge regarding importance of medical ethics, a cross-sectional survey, a cross-sectional study among students at a government and a private medical college of Karachi. Dr. Zaima Ahmar.
Thank you very much. Is my screen okay? Great. So, right, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, and a very good afternoon to all of you. We undertook a study on the importance of medical ethics in undergrad medical students at a government and a private medical college of Karachi. Because healthcare, this is our disclosure statement. We declare no conflict of interest. Because ethics is an integral part of the everyday practices of doctors, and students studying to become healthcare professionals need to inculcate ethics in their everyday life. So ethics deal with moral issues in healthcare system, treatment, and research. The importance in incorporating it in the medical curriculum is increasing. According to the World Medical Association resolution in 2017, it stated that medical schools should make it obligatory to inculcate ethics as part of their curriculum, not only in their undergrad education, but also in their postgrad education and continuing professional development. In a study conducted in 2008 in Lahore in medical undergraduates, it was found that there's a lack of healthcare ethics, and they recommended for doctors to attain formal ethical education. Also in KP, in a multi-center study in 2014, it was found, this was undertaken in medical interns, it was found that 75% of the senior doctors had an unethical attitude towards their juniors and patients as well. And majority of them lacked the knowledge regarding the then Pakistan Medical Dental Council Code of Ethics. Now, since professionalism, patient care, and practice-based learning are competencies which can be improved through enhanced ethical teaching, that is why we went ahead and assessed and compared the knowledge of undergrad medical students about medical ethics in our selected medical colleges. This was a cross-sectional study done last year in November, December. We recruited male and female medical students from year 1 to year 5 through non-probability convenience sampling. Our estimated sample size was 380 medical students, which we divided equally between the two medical colleges. We used a structured questionnaire which inquired sociodemographic details. There was questions on the importance of medical ethics and questions related to ethical scenarios. The ethical scenarios were assessed on a Likert scale from 1 to 5. Our tool was pre-tested for validity. It was self-administered, and medical students were approached during their college breaks in their college compounds. Our tool had a reasonably fair internal consistency with the Convax alpha of 0.641. We got all the required approvals and consent, and following are the results. So out of 380 medical students, 79.2%, majority, a huge majority were females, in the age group of 21 to 24, 63.4 of them, percent of them were 21 to 24 year. They were equally divided roughly between year 2 and year 5. 85% of them regarded ethical knowledge as important. Now, this is similar to recent studies conducted in India, Nepal, Nigeria, where in undergrad medical students, where they also said that ethical education is important as far as undergrad medical curriculum is concerned. Students also had a reasonably fair knowledge of Hippocratic Oath, but what was surprising to note was that 45% of them did not know if there was an ethical committee at their college, which is similar to a study which was conducted in 2006 in Barbados. So this accentuates the needs of ethical committees to make themselves more visible. As far as when ethical scenarios were compared between the two groups, variables like ethical conduct being important to avoid legal action, a patient being told if something is wrong, there were no significant differences observed. But when we looked at the abortion scenario, when we asked whether a doctor cannot refuse to do an abortion because the law allows it, 18.2% of the students in government medical college disagreed with that as compared to the 15% of students enrolled in private medical college, with a significant difference. Now, this is similar to a study conducted in 2002 in government medical school in Karachi, where students also said that since abortion is linked to premarital affairs, hence this practice should be avoided and doctors should not perform that. When we looked at euthanasia, patient-assisted dying or mercy killing, we found that 21.1% of the students enrolled in the government medical college were strongly disagreeing with this practice as compared to 11.8% of ones enrolled in private medical college, with a statistically significant difference. Now, this is similar, congruent to studies conducted in Pakistan 2014 by Imran and whereby it was stated since this was undertaken in a majority of Muslim participants. So they said that since euthanasia can be linked to the notion of suicide, hence it should be discouraged. Whereas in Canada, first world country, in 2015, it was stated that palliative care should be encouraged rather than euthanasia. Of course, our results are subject to limitations because we only took one medical college, government medical college, and one private medical college, so we cannot generalize our results. But we'd like to conclude by saying that medical students were aware of the importance of medical ethics. The ones in government medical college held stronger views regarding ethical situations like abortion and euthanasia, and we recommend to incorporate ethics as part of the curriculum so that the professional conduct of our students improves further. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you. Have a good day.
We can't hear you.
Ijaz, can you please increase the microphone voice?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear. Thank you.
Great. Okay, so we now move on to the third presentation. And our third presenter is Muhammad Hassan Raza Raja, who is a medical student of the Aga Khan University. And the title of his presentation is The Prevalence and Association of Stress with Sleep Quality in Medical Students, a Cross-Sectional Study. Over to Hassan Raja.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Can everyone hear me and see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay, great. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Hassan. I am a third year student at the Aga Khan University, and today I'll be presenting a study that I conducted in my second year, titled The Prevalence and Association of Stress with Sleep Quality in Medical Students. Before I start this presentation, I would like to state that I don't have any conflicts of interest to disclose, and my disclosure statement is on the screen. So why did I conduct this study? So I'm a medical student myself. I've gone through periods where I felt extremely stressed, and I've also gone through separate periods where I felt like my sleep quality has been affected. And that's what really interested me. I wanted to see whether my stress was having an effect on my sleep quality. And in fact, literature has backed up this claim that undergraduate medical education is far more stressful compared to other undergraduate degree programs. Furthermore, adding to this, while a few studies had been conducted in Pakistan, 1 or 2, assessing sleep quality and stress separately for medical students, we felt that the Aga Khan University had a very unique structure of medical education that would affect the results. The undergraduate MBBS curriculum at the Aga Khan University is unique in the sense that we follow a modular PBL-based integrated curriculum, whereby 7 basic disciplines are taught in the first 2 years, and the remaining 3 years are clinical years. There's a much higher emphasis on self-directed learning, whereas in other medical colleges across the country, what you by and large find is that the emphasis is on mandatory didactic teaching, with basic sciences stretching to, and hence we felt that this would significantly affect our results if we were to conduct this study. Hence we felt that the need to conduct this study in our setting was warranted, because as medical education transforms and we move to a more PBL-based integrated curriculum, which is being slowly implemented in other medical colleges, we wanted to see what the effect was from where it started. And in fact, studies have shown that the introduction of a PBL-based integrated curriculum does raise student stress levels. So we wanted to assess that in our setting. So we conducted this study between July and October 2019, following approval from AKU's ERC board. We included all AKU MBBS medical students enrolled in the 2018 to 2019 academic year, and we excluded medical students that were currently not on campus, so i.e. on electives, or with diagnosed illnesses that may have affected one's sleep quality or stress. We disseminated a Google form by a convenient sampling technique, and we validated the questionnaire prior to the main study by a pilot study using 10% of the sample size. The questionnaire itself had 3 sections: demographics and lifestyle information. The second section dealt with stress, whereby we measured stress via the PSS 14 scale, with higher scores indicating higher levels of stress. And then finally, we measured sleep quality via the Pittsburgh Sleep Quality Index, with scores ranging from 0 to 21, with a score greater than 5 indicating that the individual is a poor sleeper. So moving on to the results. So the screen displayed shows the demographics and lifestyle choices. On the right, you can see a couple of pie charts. As you can see, there's a roughly equal divide between Hostelites and Karachiites. And in the academic years, there's almost a roughly equal divide between clinical year students, so years 3, 4, and 5, which comprise around 48%, and preclinical students, first and second year, which comprised around 52%. We also felt that it was important to chart style choices that could affect one's sleep quality. So for example, coffee consumption, tea consumption, whether they had a fixed pattern of in their sleep cycle or a non-fixed pattern, and then whether they napped during the day or they didn't. So these are our key results. With regards to stress, we found that 47.1% of participants were found to be in the high stress group. We measured this, as I mentioned before, through the PSS 14 scales with scores ranging from 0 to 56. Anything above 28 was considered high stress, and this was on the basis of previous literature as well. So we found 47.1% of participants were in the high stress group. Similarly, males had a statistically lower stress level than females at a 95% confidence measured using t-test. There was no statistically significant differences in stress among preclinical and clinical students or among Karachiites and Hostelites. And then consumption of coffee, tea, or energy drinks did not affect the stress level. With regards to sleep quality, we found some alarming results in the sense that the mean PSQI was 6.31. As I mentioned before, anything above 5 indicates poor sleep quality. And in fact, 54.2% of participants had poor sleep quality. So that's the majority. There was no statistically significant difference among genders or among preclinical or clinical students or among Karachiites or Hostelites. So this is moving on to the crux of our study. So we divided participants into two groups, low stress and high stress. And then we saw the sleep quality for each group. So as you can see, the low stress group had a global PSQI score of 5.29, whereas the high stress group had a PSQI of 7.75. When we compared this through students' t-test, we found that this difference was statistically significant at 99% confidence. So we were willing to say that people who were in the high stress group did have a significantly worse sleep quality. We also explored some key associations. Sorry.
You have 1 minute left.
Yeah, okay. We also explored some key associations. So we found that if you napped during the day, 2.92, you were 2.92 times more likely to have poor sleep quality. If you didn't have a fixed pattern of sleep, 1.81 times more likely to have poor sleep quality. And moving on to stress, a fixed pattern of sleep meant it was 1.66 times more likely to have low stress. And then the key takeaways from this study. Number one, we've proved that high stress level, individuals with high stress levels are 4 times more likely to suffer from poor sleep quality. And this is similar to previous studies conducted in South Asian and Middle Eastern region. And this could be due to a common pathway that both things are regulated through. With regards to the education system, we found 47.1% of our participants who classed as stress. This is significantly lower to another study conducted in CMH Medical College Lahore, where 59.7% of participants were classed as stress. And this could be due to the significant difference in the teaching methodology. At the Aga Khan University, with a higher emphasis on self-directed learning, that could be a factor leading to the lower stress levels as seen in the study. These are my references, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And again, for questions, you can post it on the link provided, and we'll take them at the end of the session. So with this, we come to the last presentation for this theme. And for that, I would invite Dr. Tabassum Zehra from Department for Educational Development, Aga Khan University, to give her talk on faculty development in health professions education at Aga Khan University, a needs assessment. Dr. Tabassum.
Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum all of you. The topic of today's presentation is Faculty Development in Health Professions Education at Khan University, the needs assessment. The co-authors with me in this presentation are Dr. Rahila Ali, Dr. Sana Said, Dr. Amber Sultan, Mr. Sundar Khwaja, and Dr. Muhammad Tariq. I'll walk you through my presentation under these headers and let you know what was this research related to. So, in literature, faculty development has been defined as a planned program or activities or academic activities, basically, which prepare academic institutions and faculty to enhance the competencies or teaching roles of the faculty. It also enhances the knowledge and skills in the areas related to research, academic administration, and teaching and learning. Why did you? Sorry, there was some technical problem over here. जी तो रन तो हो रही है ना? I hope there was timeout by the time Iran was setting up the presentation. So the increase or enhancement of knowledge and skills in the areas, as I mentioned, and it has been also stated that workshops are the effective and convenient forum to develop faculty in their diverse needs. The enhancing demands of social accountability puts increased pressure on the faculty to develop more and more in their teaching practices as a professional and to enable change participants' teaching, research, and administrative abilities. The literature also reports that organizing and conducting workshops has been a challenge throughout, and this is one important aspect that DD at Khan University takes a role to develop faculty through educational courses and workshops in health professions education. Taking to the institution-wide initiative, professionalization of educational services of faculty, building educational capacity for the future, and preparing them for new roles is again an important aspect. Medical education scholars program is been reported one of the program in literature which conducts such kind of educational activities to develop roles, and academies and grassroots program also have been reported in literature across the world. However, lack of scheduled activities prevents faculty attending capacity development programs. So there has to be some scheduled activities, the activities where faculty can take out time and schedule their balance between the clinical service and educational commitments. Faculty development forums like continuing medical education and continuous professional development are the forums which provide faculty this forum to prepare themselves as teaching roles. There has been no published data with respect to the faculty development initiatives in Pakistan medical colleges. However, there have been reported literature that faculty development activities are being conducted at medical colleges in Pakistan, but there is no published literature to report the impact and the activities that were conducted. So need analysis is one method of conducting research where you gather data through different modes of different using different tools like observation through questionnaire, interview, or self-assessment, and recording the data. The data gathering comes after determining actually the targeted population needs, and this needs emerge from the reviewed data and ordered and then reported. In literature, we could find that the faculty development activities that were conducted in Pakistan included aspects of communication skills, teaching skills, curriculum development, research methodologies, problem-based learning, assessment areas, educational strategies, stress management, and others. But there were no areas on leadership. So the rationale and purpose of conducting this research was that in 2003 we all know that Higher Education Commission said that faculty development is absolutely necessary to enhance the faculty in their teaching roles at par with international standards of education. And the achievement of goal is only possible through faculty development activities. So the aim of this study was to assess the perceived skillability of faculty, identify the essential educational skills that are needed for the faculty to develop themselves, and also to identify these teaching roles in the various faculty tracks that exist at Al Khan University. So the setting was at Medical College Aga Khan. We also extended this at the French Medical Institute at Afghanistan, and the sample size was about 26. Ethical approval was taken from the university, and the study design was observational cross-section survey. Pilot of the questionnaire was done on 4 of the faculty members. The questionnaire was developed based on the educational activities that DD conducts, and based on that, we also looked at the literature, and we also saw that some of the areas that were published in literature that were included in a medical college in Pakistan. Um, then the sample included the departmental chairs, the program directors, and clinical coordinators of undergraduate and postgraduate medical education, and graduate program directors at Aga Khan University, and also faculty at FMIC. SPS analysis was conducted, descriptive analysis was done, and the questionnaire, included many of the courses that are included as part of faculty development activities in DD by DD, and these were the list of the workshops that were included in the questionnaire. The results. So this was, as we included, the questionnaire included what are the mandatory and essential um, uh, workshops that are essential for the faculty. So there were 9 essential or mandatory faculty workshops that were identified, and then there were certain, certain also workshops that were identified for the faculty tracks, and these faculty tracks have multiple roles in the faculty, where they are either in the educator track or in the clinical track or the researcher track. So based on this, again, if we go to the faculty tracks, there were different workshops that were identified for the faculty, and then they were also identified courses for the faculty in the clinician educator and the clinician practitioner tracks. So this study showed that dedication to faculty development is very much at Aga Khan University. Response rate was 34%. Faculty development activities across the nation don't include academic leadership, as I mentioned, and the faculty development implementation through the continuous faculty development workshop series at Aga Khan University will enhance the faculty competence and thereby improve the healthcare delivery and patient outcomes. The limitation of study is that it is limited to only one institution in Pakistan. And the way forward for this is that we will be evaluating the feasibility, usefulness, satisfaction, and the level of perceived competence of educational skills through a questionnaire which is used by Rust et al. And we have the approval by the author for this questionnaire to be used. So these are my certain references, and thank you so much, and thank you for your patience to listen. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tabassum. And with that, we now open for question and answers. And my first question is for Dr. Rahat Naz. Dr. Rahat, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. The question we have for you is like, how do you propose to generalize your current tool to other universities?
As I have already mentioned, this is a sort of a pilot study, and in future,
Can you be a bit louder? We can't hear you.
okay. As I've already mentioned, this is a pilot study, and I'm looking forward for a more comprehensive study in which we will involve multiple cities and multiple universities so that it can be generalized.
Right. And any further plans you have after that? Once you have from other universities?
Then this multi-source feedback form would be available for the all the health professional educationists, which they can utilize for their to identify the area of their weakness, and so that they can plan their future training and programs which they need to be done. And it's even better for the it will be helpful to develop the standards of the Department of Medical Education by using this multi-source feedback form.
Yes, that's good. Thank you. And best of luck for further work in it. Um, Next question is for Dr. Zaima. Uh,
Yes.
the question we have for you is, how do you recommend to introduce medical ethics in undergraduate medical curriculum?
Well, I think that there should be a separate course for as far as ethics is concerned. Also, since ethics is something which students not only learn theoretically, but they see it, while working in wards. So there should be workshops on professionalism. There should be workshops on ethical, ethical questions, and that should be taught from year 1 to year 5, not just in theory but also in practice.
Mhm. So your recommendation is to have it as a longitudinal theme working workshops from year 1 to
Yes,
5,
yes,
integrate practice.
integrated, yes.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hassan Raja, uh, the question that has come up for you is, you talked about the effect of caffeine, tea, and energy drinks. Did you take the effect of screen time relating to stress? And
No, that's one factor and that was actually mentioned in our limitations. We
uh-huh.
realized later on, following conducting on the study, that there were certain confounding factors. Screen time did come up, but we felt that it was unreasonable to include that, considering medical education is slowly moving towards um, obviously with the COVID pandemic, we've started using virtual devices much more frequently. And since this study was conducted before the COVID pandemic, that's why we didn't consider it that important. But if I were to conduct this study now, that would definitely be a factor.
Uh-huh. And I think also in literature there's a lot about how screen time in children affects their sleep. So
Exactly.
it's a good suggestion to include it in your further study if you would be doing it. And how do you propose to manage stress in undergraduate students?
So I think that's a so there's several ways. I think we what we wanted to prove through the study was that stress did exist at an undergraduate level, and it wasn't something that can be ignored. In our study, we found 47% of people were in the high stress category. I think there's various strategies. So we found certain associations. So for example, we specifically focused on sleep. So if you emphasize on good sleep hygiene, I think that would automatically lead to lower stress levels. Similarly, there were certain university-wide interventions that could have been placed. So, for example, counseling, better career guidance, which came up again and again when this was in a subsection of this result study that I didn't put in the oral presentation, but we also explored certain factors. And another factor that kept on coming up was the factor of lack of career guidance. So I feel like if we address those underlying factors, that's how we can better manage stress at an undergraduate level for medical education.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Now the question for the last presenter, Dr. Tabassum. Your study is a need assessment survey. Uh, what is the way forward? What are your future plans regarding it?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking this question. Basically, this study is kind of based on two phases, and the first phase was to have the needs assessment, and in the second phase, we are going to see the impact of the workshops that we have implemented, because the needs assessment was conducted in 2018, and since then we have been conducting workshop based on the needs assessment. It's been a year now, right? So we have a number of workshops, and we are looking into the impact of these workshops. And the way forward is that we are going to look at these based on the question that I have already mentioned in my presentation. And when we have the data, we will be disseminating the information to all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Tabassum. Yes, it would be interesting to see the impact of these workshops. So I think these are the questions that we have so far. And I would now request our judge, Dr. Sayed Imran Mahmood, to summarize the session.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Are you hearing me?
Ji, walaikum assalam.
Okay.
Can you
So,
open your video?
yeah, if I'm going to open my video, then I think I have some unstable connection. So that would, otherwise I could lose the audio. So, so starting with the first presentation, Dr. Rahat Naz about the development and validation of multi-source feedback tool to assess the competency of the health professional educationist. I think this is a sort of very good study and very good attempt in the Pakistani context to find out the ways to, screen out the proper medical educationist before starting the medical education department or having the good faculty there. And it has been practiced for years that we have seen that on the recommendation of the PMDC, the Department of Medical Education have been set up, but still they are in the very native phase and they are facing problems and challenges, especially about the recruitment of the qualified medical educationists. So this is a very good tool, and if it is going to be proved to be a reliable and valid tool, as it has been claimed in the study, because 62% had, the study results showed 62% of the participants had no degree in medical education, and most of the participants are the females, and they are predominant in the medical education field. And most alarming is 70.5% belong to the very junior cadres, and this is again an eye-opener for all of us to foresee the situation which we are facing in the future. Moving to the second presentation, Dr. Zaima Ahmer about the knowledge regarding the importance of medical education. Again, this is a very good study. And again, the results, when I'm going through it, I found it very interesting that 75% of the senior doctors had a real unethical attitude. And the majority of the population belongs to the younger group between 23 to 24 years. So this is again something which is, because you have targeted specifically to specific questions, and abortion and euthanasia, 85% have responded in a different way. So this study could be a carry on in the future to see how we are going to, progress in this regard. The presentation number 3 by the medical student Hassan Raza Raja about the prevalence and association of stress with deep quality sleep in the medical students is again a very, although the topic is very familiar and very common, but the way in which he has prepared his presentation and present the results again show real interest, especially about the figure which I have seen, 47.1% have high stress and males had lower stress level. So you can carry on with this study in the future also. The fourth presentation is about the faculty development in health professional education at Afghan University, the needs assessment, and presented very marvelously by Dr. Fatma Zahra. A very good literature review has been shown, and again, the results are real eye-openers for us to be carried on in the next phase of this. You are having annually all the research day. So all in all, the session is really marvelous, and I congratulate all the 4 presenters of this session, and keep it up. And educational research is always a difficult task, and in the context of our country, we are having a lot of challenges. But I think if you carry out and compare it with the studies at the international perspective, then it will be very helpful in our context also. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the crisp summary and the comments. So with this, we end the session 2 and have a short break of about 7 minutes. And during this break, you will have the opportunity to view the videos of our MHP alumnus. Some of our MHP alumni, and they'll be sharing their experiences. So we now break for about 7 minutes and we'll be resuming the session soon.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Dr. Aisha Leen Qureshi. I did my master's in health profession education from Aga Khan University. The experience was amazing, learning from best of the best. The program not only imparted knowledge, but also gave an insight through its relevance and applicability. After completing my master's, I wrote an article from my thesis which was on simulated patients' feedback. This got published in BMC Medical Education in 2020. The same research also won the first prize during second Educational Research Day, organized by Aga Khan University. I am extremely thankful to the dedicated faculty of DED, Aga Khan University, which is not only promoting educational research, but also revolutionizing the health professional education in Pakistan. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Dr. Aisha Leen Qureshi.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. My name is Dr. Adnan Khan Purwala and I am an MHP graduate, AKU, and currently working as Professor of Physiology and Director of Medical Education at Karachi Institute of Medical Sciences, CMH. Well, I must say that the MHP program at AKU is one of the best in town because you learn so many things during the assignment, research, and from the experiences of faculty during the contact sessions. And these things really help you a lot in your professional life. And I think that the credit goes to all the faculty members, especially Professor Dr. Ruxana Zubairi. Like, I hardly seen any teacher like her. Like, she's an amazing. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank and acknowledge the support and guidance provided by the department during the coursework and thesis. And by department, I mean both the teaching faculty as well as the non-teaching staff, especially Aslam and Miran. Like, they were always there to facilitate you. And in the end, it would be unfair if I do not mention about Dr. Naveed Yusuf, who was my supervisor for my thesis. And I still remember the time, like a week before my thesis deadline, when we were meeting every other day, either in AKU or in any coffee house, and we were doing the corrections and all. So overall, it was a great journey, and I'm very much thankful to the DD department for providing me the opportunity to share my experiences during my MHP. Thank you.
Hello and Assalamu alaikum everybody. My name is Sana Saeed and I am MHP alumnus 2019. So I am here to share my experience how this program actually helped me out to think like a researcher in HPE. So the courses that are part of this program has got an independent assignment, and I would say that this assignment is kind of a mini thesis that has an opportunity of not only applying what you have just acquired during the training in that particular course, but also you have the opportunity to come up with a problem statement. Every time I prepare my independent assignment, I had to go through extensive literature search to proper technique. And that is how I acquired the skills of applying appropriate technique of going through literature search during my training. and then there was opportunity of testing or coming up with an hypothesis, and then preparing it in a way that I was able to take it to the extent that I prepared and presented my independent assignment in a national conference during my training, and I was able to get them published, two of the independent assignment as my first author studies in index journal. My thesis is under the review process right now, international journal, and I'm looking forward to it. And I'm hoping that you guys are having an amazing time during the research day. Wish you all the very best. Thank you.
So, with this, we resume our activities and we proceed with the third and last session of oral presentations. And this is themed for educational assessment. So, we have four presentations in this third session, and we will ask the audience to note down their questions and email to the link or to post it to the link which has been provided to them on the link on the email, and the questions will be given and directed towards the presenters towards the end of the session. So with this, I would like to invite the first presenter, Dr. Sadia Fatma from Khan University. Her title of presentation is Assessments in Medical Education, Challenges and Solution During COVID Pandemic. Dr. Sadia Fatma, over to you. Thank you, presentation.
Thank you very much. I hope you can see my slides and hear me clearly.
Yes, we can. Please
Thank you. So Assalamu alaikum everyone and good evening. As you already know that COVID-19 had thrown a lot of curveball towards us. One of them was online education and online assessments. So the team at Khan University, you can see the names here. These 5 people sat together and then started to think about what we can do in order to progress our students in a smooth way towards and continue their medical education without them being, with having a fear that what would happen in the examinations and so on and so forth. Before I start, I do not have anything to declare, and this is my conflict of interest statement right here. COVID-19 affected everyone, every education program in the world. It's not only that it affected the developed countries, but it also affected the underdeveloped countries as well, at the same pace, at the same sort of effect. So what happened was that people started to shift hastily towards online teaching. Secondly, people started to question about their technological competencies or availabilities. And then there was many apprehensions available throughout, both at faculty level, at administration level, and as well as the student level. The most common of them was that students were continuously asking us that, fine, you have shifted to the online education, which AKU, being a member of AKU, I can proudly say that we continued our education for first year and second year medical students within a span of a week of closure. But then again, the students came back to us and started questioning, what about our summative exams? What about our formative exams? How are we going to know that what you're teaching us is actually what is assessed? So then we thought of coming up with a established set of protocol that would enhance a robust, reliable, and valid examination protocol for the online mode, because now our students would be sitting home rather than be here in person. So we started doing the planning and included all stakeholders. You can see that we started with the soft board, and then when everyone had to go back home, we continued doing all of this over Zoom. And eventually we came up with a certain set of rules and tasks for all of us, keeping all our learners' apprehensions and learners' feedback in mind. We had to find venues, logistics, and tasks, assignments, and all of those things. For the initial pilot assessments, we were lucky to have the CIME available for us, where you can see that we have enough rooms available, enough spaces available. But then we had to shift all of that to another venue called the Anatomy Surgery Learning Studio, because the CIME was converted into the COVID ward as the needs arise. We specifically did training for our faculty. We developed YouTube videos, training videos for both how to assess a paper and then how to conduct those sessions while you're proctoring, while you're delivering the exam online. We had various feedback sessions, as you can see there. And then we also started doing gadget checking. We asked our faculty to bring their laptop devices, and we checked everything for them. Then we had the protocol approved by the curriculum, the examination promotion committee, and of course, the ethics review board. So eventually we managed to conduct summative examinations with a good set of assessment protocols that we already have at AKU, about the number of difficulty, the type of questions, the reliability, and the difficulty index, and all of those things. What I'm going to walk you through is how we achieved to manage to conduct these summative examinations without hindering our students' assessment or their progression to the academic year. So we started off doing pilot runs. We included our students, we requested for volunteers, and you would be happy to see that the whole 200 students of the year 1 and 2 batch volunteered to be involved in the pilot runs because they wanted to give us good feedback and they wanted to be involved in this novel approach since day one. We developed some strategies for doing proximity check where the proctor would prompt the student to show the room, the hands, whatever is available nearby at the vicinity in order to avoid the cheating and malpractice. And most of our students also helped us in adding stricter rules in this. As you can see, we started off by testing a lockdown browser, which is the safest browser for conducting online examinations. And this was a setup that you can see with the proctor sitting with the laptop arranged, and there are 9 students there. Unfortunately, the lockdown browser was unable to launch for all of our students. So we had to actually try and do it again and again. But there were many issues with this, and we had to abort this pilot. But learning from the feedback that we got, the next thing that we did was used MS Teams and VLE to offer this exam. And there we found that there were some issues with the VLE page where we actually gave more questions on one page and single page. And then there was some issues with recording in the MS Teams. This was then eventually resolved by using Zoom and VLE in order to offer the same exam. Here you can see that this was quality controlled. We had observers from Examination Promotion Committee. They observed the event. They gave us feedback later on. We had to present a summary in order to get an approval to do a summative exam. We had a system where we could contact our students during the exam. This was the core team that was sitting there.
Dr. Sadeh, you have 1 minute to go.
Yes, thank you. And then you can see that the end, the third pilot protocol was completely foolproof. And you can see the reliability and validity assays of those examinations. Eventually, the debrief was also very successful. The faculty said that they loved this way. The students said that online summatives were better than the real ones. And this is how we felt after we gave our final presentation to the ENP for approval. In the end, no doubt that we were limited by doing it at a private institute, but I think that the protocol that we've developed would help other LMIC countries and universities to implement online assessments very successfully. In the end, I would like to acknowledge all of these people and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sati, for presenting a very relevant and informative presentation with respect to preparation of faculty and the students towards online learning and teaching. Our next presentation is from Dr. Amjad Ali Shah, Khan University, and the title of presentation is Process-Oriented Quality Method for Assuring the Reliability of Large-Scale Assessment Scores at the National Level. Dr. Amjad Ali Shah. Can you hear me, Dr. Amjad?
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. So, yeah, please proceed.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. The title of my presentation is Process Oriented Quality Method for Assuring the Reliability of Large Scale Examination Scores at the National Level. This is the outline of my presentation. I will give a brief introduction and background, followed by the problem statement and research objective, a quick overview on the methodology, followed by presenting you the results and conclusion. I declare that I do not have any conflict of interest while participating in DED research. Since 19th century, the standardized written examination became an essential component in schools, colleges, and universities for assessing the students' performance. Assessment in education has various methods depending on its purpose. The most prevalent modes are classroom assessment, which is called formative, and large scale testing called summative. Formative assessment is more diagnostic than evaluative, whereas summative assessment aims to evaluate the student's academic achievement, mostly taken at the end of a term or a course by comparing it against a universal standard benchmark. Summative assessment often have a high point value in the form of certification that is used for admissions to the next level and for jobs. The examination of summative assessment take place under controlled conditions. Large-scale examination can be divided into two categories, internal and external examinations. Internal examinations are held under the direct supervision of the concerned school or college administration, while external examinations are conducted by external agencies for certification purpose. The administration of large-scale assessment has remained a significant challenge over the years to ensure the exam scores reliability. Poor administration during exams usually increases the probability of malpractices. Factors contributing to exam malpractice includes poor implementation of exam rules, corruption, political interference, invigilation, and etc. The meaning of examination malpractice is any illegal act performed by a candidate or made to perform to gain unfair marks. Examination malpractice is a great threat to the education system in general and to secondary and higher secondary education in particular. Malpractice has many forms, such as cheating, impersonation, leakage of exam papers, undue favoritism from invigilators to students, and other irregularities. Malpractice in high stakes examination is common, not only in Pakistan, but also other parts of the world, as you can see in the pictures. So indeed, it is a global issue. In some countries, drastic measures were taken to stop malpractice in exams like this. Do you think this is the solution? Absolutely not, because it is unethical. The argument is that examination malpractice is unethical because Pakistan University Examination Board has introduced risk that could have negative impact on the exam conduct. Then to mitigate those risks, comprehensive standard procedures were drafted. Total 1500 quality key indicators were identified, and to ensure compliance, the monitoring and quality assurance processes were introduced. Rapid Response Committee and Governance Committee were developed to meet every day and see the challenges reported and to make sure to give guidance for the next day. Hence, making sure that we are working in a proactive mode rather than a reactive mode. Our study aims to explore the impact of implementing the process-oriented quality model developed by AKU-EB for ensuring the quality and fairness in examination. And to achieve this objective, the research question was how effective the POQ model is for reducing the malpractice and operational challenges during examinations to ensure fairness. Data was collected through the direct observations based on the quality quality indicators identified in SOPs. Checklists were developed to evaluate and eliminate all possible risks and to do the structured observation. CCTV monitoring was another tool which is used to record observations across Pakistan. In almost 1,000 exam sessions in 2019 annual examination, 250 sessions were monitored through spot checks, which is 25% of the total sessions. We developed this robust framework, which was used while recording and reporting the observations taken. Results. The outcome of using POQ model has proven to be extremely successful. We have 25 key quality indicators for exam conduct, and you can see in the graph that the number of observations reported have been decreased over the period. In the first 15 days, there were 287 observations, which went down to a total of 144 by the end of the examination. That is approximately 50% reduction. Moreover, no malpractice case was reported due to strict compliance of the SOPs. To conclude, the POQ model promotes best practices. The detailed documentation of the process, their continuous monitoring helps to ensure consistency as the mistakes are reduced by the time, and it helps to mitigate risk and reduces the operational cost as well. Furthermore, the entire process of POQ model brings positive attitude towards regular evaluation of work and continuous improvement. It increases the exam's scores reliability and adds value to the confidence in leadership's decisions as they are aware of the ground realities and challenges. Some takeaway points are our study recommends other exam regulatory bodies in Pakistan to pursue POQ model in order to minimize the risk of malpractice and operational challenges in during exams. It also reveals the importance of systematic research to make informed decisions during exams, and it signifies the value of monitoring and evaluation processes. At last, I would like to acknowledge the contribution of all of them for their guidance and support. Thank you for listening to me patiently.
Thank you, Mr. Shah, and very nice presentation related to the assessments in the classroom. And this was a presentation made from the examination board at Khan University. Our next presentation is from Dr. Javeria Rahman. Uh, and her presentation is titled as Conducting Formative Online Open Book Exam for First Year Medical Students, a Pilot Study. Dr. Javed Rahman is a faculty at Department for Educational Development and Department for Pathology at Khan University. Dr. Javed Rahman. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, and again, a very good afternoon to all of you. So the title of my presentation today is Conducting Formative Online Open Book Exam for First Year Medical Students. That was a pilot study. And along with my co-authors, I'm here to present it today. I disclose that I do not have any conflict of interest related to the research or the presentation today. So the spread of COVID-19 pandemic this year in 2020 has came with the challenges and compelled medical education to be shifted from face-to-face interaction to a virtual platform all around the globe. With these challenges came the opportunities for the educators to explore online teaching, learning, and assessment modalities. One such assessment modality is online open book exam, which is relatively a new concept in medical education of Pakistan and needs to be explored. So the open book exam format allows the students to consult
the approved resources, that is, varying from textbooks, notes, handouts, internet, ebook, webs, etc., while attempting the exam. The open book format essentially tests the application of knowledge and higher order thinking skills of the students, such as problem solving and critical thinking. The literature supports the use of OBE in clinical science subjects in undergraduate medical education, but limited information is available for its use in basic science subjects. Therefore, in order to familiarize the faculty as well as the students with the format, a pilot formative remote open book exam for first year medical students was conducted at the Aga Khan University, Karachi. The objective of the study was to determine the quality of this open book exam administered as a pilot project to the first year medical students. It was a cross-sectional analytical study that involved 99 students of first year MBBS. The students were briefed about the schedule, the format of the exam, as well as the allowed resources at the beginning of the module. An online unrestricted type of open book exam was administered as a mid-module formative assessment in real module through virtual learning environment to the students. The exam consisted of 30 open-ended short answer type questions. All the questions were reviewed by a team of content specialists as well as a medical educationist. The questions that were selected were all designed to assess the understanding and application of knowledge as per Bloom's cognitive level. There was no question that was assessing the recall. The total duration of the exam was 70 minutes, and the exam scores of the students were analyzed to determine the mean score with standard deviation, reliability, and a post-hoc analysis of the assessment was done using Microsoft Excel. Coming to the results, the mean percent score of the students that was obtained to be 47.24% with standard deviation of 15.3. The reliability of the exam was 0.79. On post-hoc analysis, regarding the difficulty index of the items, out of 30, 3 questions, that is 10%, were found to be very easy. 7 questions, that is 23.3%, were found to be very difficult, whereas 66.6% of the questions, which made the majority, were moderately difficult. Regarding the discrimination index, majority of the questions, that is 86.6%, were ranging from moderate to high discrimination index, whereas only 4, that is 13.4%, were the poor discriminators. We observed that there was no question that was negative discriminator. So when we look at the literature, recent studies, that is even in this COVID and pandemic era, have reported use of open book exam and remote access high stake exam in UK and other European countries this year. The reliability of 0.79% of the 0.79 of the exam in the study was comparable to the reliability reported by Sam et al. In 2020, which was found to be 0.8%, 0.8 for high stake summative open book exam, which was conducted at Imperial College London. Literature also suggests the use of open-ended short answer questions in similarity to our studies, while there are also studies that have reported the use of case-based and multiple choice questions for such exam. So we concluded that the exam was found to be reliable and can be implemented with training of faculty and students. Open book exam provides a good format for remote and formative assessment of students with minimum proctoring during times of constraints such as COVID-19 pandemic. Faculty training is required to create an open book exam assessing application of knowledge in basic science subjects. And we also recommend that students should be trained to utilize all resources effectively while preparing for and avoid plagiarism while attempting open book exam. So these are the references, and thank you for giving the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Dr. Javeria. Uh, our fourth and the last presenter is from Department for Obstetrics and Gynecology, Khan University, Dr. Nida Najmi, and her presentation title is Developing and Validating Team Objective Structured Assessment of Technical Skills, TOSATs for Obstetrics, Emergency Skills, Eclampsia Management. Dr. Nida Najmi, over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tabassum. All right. I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'd like to present my study, which was conducted by myself along with my supervisors and colleagues, Dr. Shazia Babar and Dr. Naveed Yusuf. And before I start the study, I have to declare that there is no conflict of interest involved in this conducting of this study or presentation of this study. Before I go on to the actual study, I would like to start with the introduction that we all know that patients seek a hospital for their diseases and problems, and everybody expects a good clinical outcome. But saying that medical errors is part of every hospital and it occurs all over the world. Now, there was this groundbreaking report that was shared, that was published in the United States, which was To Err is Human. And it showed that nearly 98,000 of the people annually die with related to the medical errors. Now, from there, the data started publishing related to the medical errors and open acceptance of those medical errors and how to improve upon those errors. Another review that was conducted was by NHS, an organization with the memory, and so on and so forth. So with these literatures and reviews came the concept of the workplace-based assessment, which was initially initiated by Canadian educators, and now it has been standardly used all over the world. Today, there are many such OSATs form which are available, and especially for the teamwork, because teamwork was identified as one of the essential elements which were lacking in an occurrence of the medical errors. So a review of the literature suggested that in obstetrics, the particularly related to obstetrics, the team OSATs were deficient, and moreover, the OSATs related to the technical skills of emergency obstetric skills were deficient. Hence, this study was conducted to develop and validate the team obstetric structured assessment of technical skills for emergency obstetrics. So, so the objective of this study is to develop a team OSAT tool for emergency obstetric skills of eclampsia management and to investigate its validity and reliability. This was a cross-sectional validations pilot study, and it was conducted in my parent institute at Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology. It included 25 participants total, and they were divided in a group of 6 teams. And ethical considerations in, exemption was taken and the budget was approved by the department. So the research methodology, initially the tool was developed. Now the thorough literature review was done in order to select the items, which included the textbook and the standard guidelines, as well as other team courses that are available in obstetrics, such as prompt course and also course, and the scale was developed accordingly. Followed by that, the content validity was checked. This was given to 5 physicians and 5 nursing experts, and it was assessed for ease of use, content coverage, logical sequence, and clarity of the rating scale descriptors. And once this was done, then the reliability was assessed. And in order to assess the reliability, we had conducted we had conducted a simulated eclampsia drill. Now, those 25 participants, they were divided in a team of 6, and those participants included a mix of people who are usually present on floor and are managing obstetric patients. So it included a junior resident, a senior resident, midwife, a nursing instructor, medical officer. They all had mix of these healthcare professional in these teams. Now they were assessed by 3 different assessors while they were performing the eclampsia drill. Now, the data was collected, so we organized a one-day activity, and a hybrid simulation methodology was chosen, and the standardized patient was given an adequate training along with the mannequin which was used for actual management of the patient. Now, the assessors who were there were briefed regarding the case scenario, and they were given a teaching regarding the TOSATs, and they were independent of actually whoever was teaching those team, and they were there to observe and give marking on the TOSAT form. Now, the team itself was given a core lecture of eclampsia, and the team was briefed and roles were allocated, and then the team performed the eclampsia drill, and the debriefing of the team was done, which was done by the instructor who was taking their session. Now, these are the results. These are the descriptive statistics. As you can see that overall, assessor 1 had scored relatively higher scores as compared to assessors 2 and 3, but there has been overall a correlation between all these, as you will see in the next slide. Now, the overall reliability that was calculated for the tool was 0.804, which suggests high level of internal consistency. And these are the individual items that were selected for the tool and their individual Cronbach's alpha. So if you can see that these items included the technical skills as well as the team performance of the team. Now, this was the agreement between the assessor. If you can see that there was a good agreement between assessor 1 and 2 and 1 and 3. Now, the strength of this study is that it addresses a gap in the literature. It incorporates technical and non-technical items together in the tool, and it addresses researchers' bias by involving neutral assessors, and results are comparative to.
Yes. We just have 1 minute to go.
Okay, this is just done. So results are comparative to other studies in the literature. The weakness include a small sample size. Of course, it was a pilot study and it does not address educational impact. So that's where the future direction is, to assess the educational impact and to use this tool by other non-obstetric field and development of other tools for other obstetric emergencies. This is my last slide, and this is the tool, if I can just open it. Yeah, so this was the team OSAT or the TOSAT tool for eclampsia drill. There was a rating scale for 0 to 6, and these were the technical steps, items for technical steps, and then the items for team dynamic. And overall, there was also a global rating done, and then this were the rater scale descriptors. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nila Najmi, and this was something new that we have learned. For the presenters, we have received some questions that I'm going to direct towards the presenter. Our first question is related to the first presenter, Dr. Sadia Fatma from our BBS faculty, Khan University. And the question is related to the challenges, right? How did the faculty perceive the new challenges?
So we had many challenges. I'm not sure what challenges the person who's written the question is asking for, but we had to look for the internet connectivity. We had to look for people with or without the laptops. Do they have a second device to give us the proctoring? So there were many challenges that we had to face and focus on, and above and more so, what would happen if power cuts happen at that particular time when the student is giving an exam? So we worked all of those during our pilot, and then eventually we came up with, contingency plans as well as the normal plans too. So just to name a few, these were the challenges that we had.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Sadia. The next question is directed towards Mr. Amjad Ali Shah, and the question is related to your methodology. You said that you had spot checks. Uh, so how was this spot check done? Because this was not mentioned in your presentation.
Thank you for asking this question. Spot check was done within the team, and the team was directly responsible to go to the exam centers. There were 40 centers around Pakistan, and we go there and we had some checklists with us, and according to those checklists, we used to observe and report to the higher management. Thank you.
Okay. Uh, Thank you so much, Mr. Shah. And our next question is directed towards our third presenter, Dr. Javier Rahman. So the question is related to the timing for the questions that were given to answer. And how do you see 70 minutes for 30 questions? Do you think that was long or that was okay? Your points for the timing of the questions.
Okay, thank you for the question. Well, interestingly, the literature has suggested very contrasting views regarding the time duration for the open book exams. Some studies have suggested to even shorten the duration as compared to the traditional closed book format. But moreover, majority of the studies have suggested that the students need to be provided efficient enough time not to search for the answers, because ideally the open book exam essentially should be designed in a way that the answers are not searchable in the books or the resources, whatever it may be. So since it was the unrestricted type and it was a pilot study and the students were not familiar with the format and the questions were open-ended short answer questions, so we think that this duration was justified for those number of questions. Hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Dr. Javeria. And our last question is directed towards the last presenter, Dr. Nida Najmi. You said that you have developed two SATs for eclampsia as one of the emergency skills in obstetrics and gynecology. So the question is, have you thought of any other emergency skills for the two SATs?
Yes, actually, there are a set of emergency skills that are usually taught to the residents and trainees, and they're usually taught as on mannequins without any structured assessment format for them. So, such as shoulder dystocia and breach management. So, those are the next in line that should be developed, as I said in the future direction in my last slide.
Right. So thank you so much for all the presenters, and we have learned a lot with respect to the educational assessments and the new researches that are being conducted in various ways. So with this, I would like to request our judge for this session, Dr. Saida Kausar Ali, to please summarize the session. Dr. Kausar, please. We cannot hear you, Dr. Kausar. If you can unmute your mic.
Yes, I forgot to unmute and started early. Thank you very much. I am grateful to Dr. Tariq and the DED Research Committee for providing me this opportunity to participate in this very highly informative research session that we have had. Since I had the opportunity, we all listened to all the presentations, and I really appreciate all the presentations that happened in all the sessions, especially since I am interested in assessments. All the 4 presentations in this session, all of them, very useful, very informative, and I'm sure will go a long way in this online education scenario especially. So let me start with the presentation that was made by Dr. Saadia. I think she she shared the findings of her pilot on online assessment. And this is an area that we all are worrying about. And I think her experience of doing online assessment and the methodical way in which the pilot has been presented is really very appreciative. And moving from trying one method to the second and then coming on to the final, a very, very well presented study which would help us also and other medical institutions in conducting online assessments. The second study by Dr. Amjad Ali Shah, I again must compliment him and his team, because nowadays with the MDCAT just around the corner and the NLE in the pipeline, I'm sure that in medical health professions education, this protocol and these practices, especially the POQ practices, I hope someone conveys this to the, since Dr. Adil is on that committee, I'm sure Dr. Adil can communicate the POU framework to the PMC people and urge them to use something like that because it will certainly help improve the quality of our national level examinations. Then, of course, Dr. Javeria presented a pilot study of formative online open book examinations. Formative assessment is very important. We all know that, and especially online formative assessment is certainly something that we look forward to. I would have been interested in knowing if she studied the educational impact of her study, because formative assessment is best used to improve learning. And I'm sure in her literature, she would be, when she publishes it, I'm sure she would be writing about it. Last, of course, Dr. Nida presented a validation study for a novel instrument that she has developed. Team work has always been a difficult area to assess on, and the instrument that she has developed to assess teamwork, and that also in obstetric emergencies, इसे कहते हैं वो मतलब दो आतिशात. Both of the things are extremely important, and I must I congratulate her for presenting an instrument which has proven, at least in this study, to be a reliable instrument and has given positive findings. I think that this will inspire others who are interested in doing teamwork and assessing teamwork into developing more instruments into that. Thank you very much. Once again, thank you for providing the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kosa, for this elaborative summarization of the presentations. Now, I would request Dr. Sonia Heather to please take over the podium for the final session of the research day.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tabassum, and thank you all the presenters. So I think now we, first of all, going to have the summary of our best posters. And for that, I would like to invite Professor Ruxana Zubairi, who would be actually summarizing the poster presentations along with the poster presenters. Dr. Zubairi?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I'd like to say Assalamu alaikum to everybody. And it's a tail end of the DED Research Day, and I hope everybody is still here. Now we come to some of the fun part, where we not listen to what they say, but we try and appreciate what they have done. So we will start with the e-posters. Usually the Department for Educational Development acknowledges the 5 best posters. This time we're only going to give out the top 4 posters, but it's not really, it's top 4 places are going to be announced, but there are more posters. The reason is that for the placement of number 4, there were 4 posters that got equal number of marks. So we are going to give an opportunity to all 4 of them, and number 5 is subsumed. So may I just say what we will follow is that I will announce the names of the people. They will then, in the meantime, their poster will get loaded. May I request them to come on, switch on their mic and their video, read out the title and just one line in conclusion. And we will go from number 4, the 4 in number 4, and none of them are over and above. We're just going to announce them in alphabetical order. And then we will announce the number 3, then the number 2, and lastly, the number 1. All of them, I just want to say, all of the posters were excellent, and I think the judges had a difficult choice. So if I was you, I would think 4 of them are being announced, all others are number 5. With this, I would like to invite the first of the 4 who got number 4. And they're only in alphabetical order. So I will invite Dr. Sitara Jabin. Dr. Sitara Jabin, may I invite you? If Miran can put up the e-poster. If you have it, fine. Otherwise, I could do it, I suppose. Now you got it. If we can make it bigger. It's monitoring and evaluation of capacity development programs on student assessment. It's by the examination board of the Aga Khan University. Ms. Sitara Jabin et al.
So the title of our study is Monitoring and Evaluation of Capacity Development Program on Student Assessment to Balochistan Assessment and Examination Commission. The study found that the M&E framework led the program to be more effective and interactive, achieve the daily session objectives, identify challenges and develop mitigation strategies, provide room for improvement through formative feedback. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sitara et al. Actually, Jafar et al. And now we come to the, as I said, this is only alphabetical. So we started with J, we go to K. Kareem et al. So may I invite Kareem et al. It's Abdul Kareem, Yasmin Amarsi, Yasmin Farpio, Leila Qasim, and Munira Amir Ali from the Aga Khan University School of Nursing and Midwifery. Kareem.
बंद करो
Miran screen sharing is
अच्छा
so 2 बजे से पहले से
बेटा मैं देखती हूँ मैं अभी नहीं अच्छा मैं देखती हूँ मैं अभी पापा से बोलूँगी
Can you see now?
Yes. So is Kareem
Can I
here?
please request the presenter to Abdul Kareem to please come and share a few words in terms of the title, the objective and finding of your study? Can you hear me, Abdul Kareem?
Either Abdul Kareem or Yasmin Amarsi or Yasmin Farpio or Leila Qasim or Munir Amir Ali. By the way, to find your way here, I will read out the title. It's perception of the nursing students and faculty members regarding the implantation, maybe the implementation of the 4-year baccalaureate nursing program in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Pakistan.
Dr. Zubairi, since I think none of the
I don't think they're here. I don't think they're here. Anyway, they share the 4th place along with Sitara Jabin and the next 2. The next one I will call is Shaila Khan and Shagufta Iqbal, also from the Aga Khan University School of Nursing and Midwifery, Aga Khan University. Their title is Innovative Ways of Student Engagement for Active Learning in Science Courses of the Nursing in the 4-year baccalaureate program. Khan and Iqbal. Do we have Shaila Khan or Shagufta
Yes,
Iqbal?
Assalamu alaikum.
Fantastic. Over to you.
Okay, I'm Shaila Khan from Aga Khan University School of Nursing and Midwifery. The title of my poster is Innovative Ways of Student Engagement for Active Learning in Science Courses of Nursing in the 4-year baccalaureate program. The findings of my paper shows that our millennial students learn more towards multitasking and variety in learning environment. Conclusively, it is observed that the innovative active learning pedagogies played a vital role in engaging the students more independently through the learning process. It is recommended to provide such platform where we can train faculty to teach students by various innovative ways that can increase the students' engagement and motivation in learning. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. And the last but not the least, because they share the 4th place together, is a e-poster by Shor Sarfraz et al., which consists of Shor Sarfraz, Nasir Ahmed, and Maria Shakur Abbasi. Faculty self-perceived competency in online teaching during the COVID-19 pandemic. Over to you, Dr. Shor.
Thank you, Dr. Rosanna. My topic is the faculty self-perceived competency in online teaching and support during COVID-19. And we had assessed the self-perceived competency in online teaching and what support they got during COVID-19 pandemic. The findings are that the faculty perceive themselves somewhat competent. They think that they are a bit competent and they need to be more competent by faculty development. And the maximum faculty took the support from the web sources and their peers and the mentors they got nearby in their institutes. So I recommend that we should have faculty development programs online to make them more competent. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that brief and succinct thing. Okay, so these were the number 4. We had 4 number 4s. Now we go to 1, 1, and 1. We will now announce number 3. The number 3 poster prize goes to Dr. Shazia Durrani Fakir and Amara Hamid from Bahria University Medical and Dental College for their e-poster titled Experiences of Undergraduate Medical Students Regarding Virtual Clinical Rotations During COVID-19 in Karachi. Shazia.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Since I have a very, I will go directly to my title, Experiences of Undergraduate Medical Students Regarding Virtual Clinical Rotations During COVID-19 in Karachi. The objective was to explore the lived experiences and feelings of the clinical year undergraduate MBBS students regarding virtual clinical rotations, because online teaching was going on, but nobody was talking about clinical rotations, especially in our part of the country. So the aim of my study was to get student views regarding virtual clinical rotations conducted during pandemic and making a way forward for clinical medical education in the future with the use of technology in combination of or in the absence of real life clinics, without wasting much of academic time in certain unforeseen situations like this recent one. The results, we had 4 core themes were identified. It does not give the real feel of clinics. History taking of simulated patients is beneficial. Clinical skills and procedures are not possible as there was no hands-on. And due to weak internet connections, there was disrupted concentration.
Thank you very much. Very nice. So this concludes our 4 equally important, equally scored e-posters, all achieving 4th place. All achieving 4th place, and this one was achieving 3rd place. Now we come to the top 2. The 2nd place, so congratulations to everybody who has been speaking on their posters. They were all very wonderful. Number 2 Number 2 placement goes to Muhammad Ilyas and Yasmin Nadeem Parfio from the Aga Khan University School of Nursing and Midwifery for their e-poster, Prevalence and Factors Associated with Anxiety and Depressive Symptoms Among Undergraduate Nursing Students in KPK. So over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. The title of my study was Prevalence and Factor Associated with Anxiety and Depressive Symptoms Among Undergraduate Nursing Students in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Pakistan. The purpose of my study was to determine the prevalence and factor associated with anxiety and depressive symptoms among undergraduate nursing students of public and private nursing colleges in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. The results of my study, which we identified is the prevalence and factor associated with anxiety and depressive symptoms among uh, 60.3 individuals were screen positive, and the factor identified associated with anxiety and depressive symptoms were age, marital status, and family history of psychiatric diseases. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, अब दिल थाम के बैठो कि मेरी बारी आए. Who is going to be number 1? It is my privilege to announce the number 1 of the e-posters of the 4th DD Research Day, the first virtual DD Research Day. It goes to Shore et al. Again, who also got the 4th place. This one is to Shore, Ghori, Askari, Imran, Khurshid and Adnan for their poster titled Assessing Insights and Practices Among Graduates to Signify the Need for Dental Ergonomics Within the Dental Curriculum, a cross-sectional survey. You don't have to repeat the slide, just go to the conclusion. Well done.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay. So should I find, okay.
Just your main findings. What is it that made this so important?
Okay, the main finding was the scores of the participants regarding knowledge. They found to be having fair enough knowledge about the ergonomics, dental ergonomics, but and their attitude was also positive about it for the implementation, but their practices were not up to the mark, and the scores were very bad. And it was also found that there was a weak but positive correlation between knowledge and practices, and males found to be more positive and more practicing the dental ergonomics than the females with significant p-value. So it was recommended, and it was I recommend it to be the part of the dental curriculum, inculcate them in their OPDs and ward content in the curriculum so that they can practice it and be safe with all the ill health and physical traumas which will happen because of their positioning, wrong positioning. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So with this, I'd like to congratulate Shore et al. For number 1, Ilyas and Parfio for number 2, Fakir and Hamid for number 3. Again, Sarfraz et al., Shaila Khan and Shagufta Iqbal, Kareem et al., and Sitara Jabin et al. From the EB for number 4. With all our congratulations, well done, and hope to see you again, this time with more prizes and maybe with prizes in the oral presentations as well. I'd like to congratulate everybody and Didi and hand over the podium back to Dr. Sonia Haider. Sonia.
Thank you very much, Dr. Zubairi, and congratulations to all the poster presenters. And I think today is your day, so just celebrate, mashallah. So now coming to the final, that's the best oral presentations for the day, and exciting moment for all the presenters. And for this, I would like to invite Dr. Mohammad Tariq to please come and announce the winners.
So thank you so much, everybody, for your time spent here. It was such an exciting day today. We just received best poster presentations, and I think I would like to appreciate the role of judges, in identifying the best posters. Now I would like to announce the best oral presentations. So we had 12 presentations today, and mix of people did those presentations. I'm going to announce the best oral presentation. So So, our judges scored these presentations based on the content, purpose of the study, objectives, appropriateness of the objectives, relevance of the objectives, strengths and limitations, and then how they were presented, tone and pitch of the voice while presenting, time management by the participant, by the presenter, and the question and answer, how they were responded. So these were some of the things which were considered and kept in mind while scoring these presentations. And now I'm going to announce three best oral presenters for today. And I would announce the third one first, and then second, and then first. So the third presentation, which was marked third for today, is a study on conducting formative online open book exam for first year medical students, a pilot study by Dr. Javeria Rahman, Department of Education Development, Aachen University. She scored 71.6% marks. So doc, yes, okay. Um, the second one for today, the person who got second position today in the oral presentation was the study on the prevalence and association of stress and sleep quality in medical students, a cross-sectional study. And this was a presentation from Muhammad Hassan Raza Raja, a medical student from the Aga Khan University. So I would like to congratulate both of them, and he had 80.9% marks. And then the first presentation, the person who had the first prize or first stood first in the oral presentation was a study and innovation in flipped classroom, a teaching model to facilitate synchronous and asynchronous learning during a pandemic, by Dr. Rehana Rahman from the Department of BBS, Khan University. She is also a MHPE student. So Dr. Rehana, she scored 83.33%. Her score was 83.33. So I would like to congratulate all three presenters on their success. And I think in addition, I think we heard all 12 presentations and they were all excellent. I think if the, so they were all more than 70%, I would say. But I think we had to give top three to identify top three. So these were the top three which I just mentioned. So congratulations for all for the presentation, and we look forward for your publication in this in this area. So these 12 presentation as well as those 54 abstract. We want in the next retreat we should be able to say or maybe convey that all of them or maybe 50% of them are published. So please actively involved in working out on your publication of these abstracts. So I think जब तक abstract को publication में convert नहीं करेंगे बात आगे नहीं बनेगी. So I think you need to work hard on publications. Thank you. So now I would like to the closing ceremony. The Dean School of Nursing and Midwifery, Dr. Rosina Karamaliani. She is a professor of nursing, and she's a prominent member of the Aachen University. She is an alumni of the Aachen University School of Nursing and Midwifery. She is first Sonam alumnus to obtain PhD in nursing. She has received various national and international awards and published a number of papers in national and international journals. She had been also involved in the development and promotion of higher education in nursing in East Africa, Afghanistan, Syria, and Egypt. So, Dr. Karamaliani, it's my privilege to invite you for the closing remarks.
Thank you so much. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So thank you so much for inviting me, for listening and being there for such an important event. This is the fourth one in a row, but the first virtual one. Usually we have it in person. So thank you for the opportunity to be able to listen to our very prominent, important research projects at the same time. I would like to acknowledge the close collaboration and partnership which DD has always maintained. So thank you to Dr. Dean Adil, Dr. Tariq, and all the team members who nicely organized this. And today and right now, it's a formal closing for this event. I'm sure that all of us have taken the advantage of learning and listening to the research projects. And as I say that research is never an individual thing. So if you have an idea, make a theme around and then make a team. So I say, and I remember always our research office, Dr. Anwar Siddiqui, at that occasion, which brought in the university his saying that teams with teams. And I want to convey this message to you during the closing, that teams with teams is the way to go in the area of research, and different people bring different expertise. Skills mix is important, and DD, Dr. Sana Zubairi, Dr. Tabassum have always made sure that we have the skill mix in terms of the research groups, as well as in terms of the disciplines. So for example, the discipline of medicine, the discipline of allied health, discipline of nursing, working together is a great way for moving forward for us. There were 5 posters and e-posters. You must have enjoyed them. I'm glad that there were about 3 in the winning list from School of Nursing, and also great learning for the School of Nursing faculty and students to be able to hear this. I congratulate to the organizing committee that during the COVID time, we were able to manage this. Stay safe, keep the SOPs. We may be saturated or tired and fatigued with the COVID-19, but as our president and Sean said this morning in the president town hall, that virus is not fatigued, virus is not tired, virus is not on break. And as I say to the healthcare providers, that we are not disposable. And PPE is disposable, but we are not. And therefore, we have to take care of ourselves and our families. So with this, I would like to give it back to the faculty members who are now closing this. But I would like to appreciate, and I always enjoy the partnership and also the key role which DD has. The key role which the DED has brought in the university around the professional education is phenomenal. And I would like to acknowledge the founding person, Dr. Ruxana Zubairi, for that, and all the faculty members who are carrying the flag forward for the professionals to learn good. So with that, I will hand over back to you, Dr. Tariq. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Karamaliani. Thank you. So before the vote of thanks by Dr. Sonia Haider, I would like to acknowledge the work and hard work by the Departmental Research Committee and led by Dr. Sonia Haider. And the members were active, very active members by Dr. Rahila Ali Mazhar, Dr. Tabassum Zehra, Dr. Shazia Baba, Dr. Javeria Rahman, Dr. Leena Khan. And then in addition, Anil Khwaja, Sundar Khwaja, Miran, Aslam, and all the DED staff and faculty and Afsha and everybody, Afsha Dhanani. So Kareem and Ali Kareem and Sundar Khwaja, everybody is sitting here. So I think everybody worked hard to make it a success. And I'm really grateful to all of you. I'm also grateful to the judges and others. But Dr. Sonia Haider is going to thank all. So I'm asking her to come and say some words and for the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tariq. First of all, I have to say it has been a great teamwork, and we as a team have, mashallah, ended this day. And I actually feel proud that we have made it a success virtually for the very first time. Yeah, thank you. And yes, we are receiving messages that yes, it's a success. Thank you so much. So with this, I'll first of all say thank you to all the DRC team members, the entire staff, Sundar, Aslam, Miran, Anil, Dr. Leena, and Dr. Shazia Babar, Dr. Tabassum Zaira, Dr. Rahila, Dr. Javeria, Afshan. This wouldn't have been possible. But in addition to that, I think there have been lots of support from the university, and I would like to acknowledge the IT department, the logistics, catering, the audiovisual. All of you have actually helped us and facilitate us, and I'm honestly very grateful and thank you on behalf of our entire department. In addition to that, I think the most important aspect of this entire day was, our judges who have been with us, especially the oral judges through and through. Dr. Naveez Yusuf, Dr. Saida Ali Kausar, Dr. Imran Masood, thank you very much for sitting. I can imagine, well, all of you have been sitting here since 2 till 5, so that's 3 hours whole and whole. In addition to that, the e-poster judges, and thank you, Naveed, for waving. I like that. So yes, the e-poster judges, I cannot forget them. They have been very diligent in sending back their, markings to us and ratings yesterday. And I have to start by saying thank you, Dr. Sadia Masood, Dr. Shaista Afzal, Dr. Bakar Bari, Dr. Naila Naeem, Dr. Alia Ahmed, Dr. Bushra Muiz. And in addition to that, I cannot forget, and I'm extremely thankful for all the reviewers. We received over more than 100 abstracts, and there was a team out there sitting reviewing them. And I have to acknowledge their entire effort, in addition to the effort of the entire DD faculty who was also involved in the review process. And with this, ladies and gentlemen, I just bring this entire event to a close. Thank you so much, Dr. Rosina, Dr. Zubairi, and the entire DD faculty, Dr. Tariq, for making this day a memorable one. And I'm so glad we had this virtual one. And I think the memories are there forever with us. So I think to all of us, thank you. Take care and have a good evening and a good weekend ahead, all of you.
And well done, Dr. Sonia. You did a marvelous job, you and your team.
Thank you. Thank you, Ji.